An old rivalry renewed tonight in Stephenville as Tarleton State welcomes undefeated Angelo State for the 82nd all-time meeting between these two former Lone Star Conference rivals, the first inside the new EECU Center. And it should be a fantastic matchup as we welcome you courtside. He's Scott Garner. I'm Will Conerly. We're excited for this matchup. Angelo State undefeated. Tarleton State trying to stay undefeated here inside the new EECU Center.
A beautiful facility, and Billy Gillespie's team is actually playing good basketball. Even though they're below 500 right now, they have taken on some of the nation's best. They have taken on LSU, SMU. They just lost to Baylor in a pretty tight ball game, but a chance to get even tonight.
And in that Baylor game, Dior Johnson took over Foster Pavilion, 42 points.
He's incredible. This guy's always been able to put the ball in the basket, a former four-star recruit out of high school, smartest player on the floor. Coach Billy Gillespie says, knows when to go, knows when to woe. He's a driver and a shooter.
And for the Rams, they went into the portal, got 6 transfers from the Division I level. Josiah McWright's one of them, and he's been good.
He's been really good. In fact, he's good to the tune of perhaps being the best 3-guard in the Lone Star Conference. He's that good. 16 starts for Tulsa last year. He is electric in transition. Fastest guy on this Rams team. He's going to get downhill. It's not if, but when, and he will challenge the interior defense of the Texans tonight.
Ready for action here inside the brand new EECU Center. Chris Mpaka standing at midcourt. The Texans and the Rams renewing an old rivalry tonight. Alongside Scott Garner, I'm Will Conerly. Happy you're spending your evening with us for this matchup. Mpaka wins the tip, and the Texans paint touch on their opening possession. Isaac from the corner rolls off the mark.
So that's what he's been doing. Isaac, a guy that can catch and shoot, did that early in the Baylor game and kind of settled the Tarleton offense down, an offense that scored at least 76 in 3 of the 5 games so far.
Look down low, and Mpaka cleans up off the window. It's still loose. Another gift down low, and the ball just swipes into the hands of Mazzell, who wants to push. And Jordan Mazzell providing the first 2 of this ball game.
One of the things you notice is that Tarleton does have the distinct advantage in terms of size and length. And so Angelo State's going to come in here, and they want to try to get extra special in terms of the intensity and the scrappiness.
Deep 2, buried there from the leading scorer, Jaquai Murray.
This guy Murray is a scorer. He's led them in scoring in 4 of the last 5 ball games. Had a 20-point game, then a 17-point game, and the next you've got to watch this guy. He can not only score, he can score off the bounce too. In addition to the catch and shoot, he's got a little thickness to him.
Double digits in 4 straight games for the Brooklyn, New York native.
Yeah. And you got to like the pace that Tarleton's come out with. They want to control it. And Angelo State, they like to get up and down too, but as their head coach Vinay Patel had mentioned, they don't want to be out of control. They're okay with setting it up in the half court if they need to.
And Tarleton State taking a 3 on their opening possession. They're last in the country in 3-point attempts per game. We'll see how that unfolds tonight.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Rolls off by Leroy Kelly the 4th, and the Rams pick it up.
One thing that Billy Gillespie assured us yesterday is that his team is not going to take Angelo State lightly, even though they're a D2 opponent.
McWright tries to drop it in. Mazzell fighting for the rebound, and it will go to the Texans.
And if you're thinking by watching these two teams play that this team is not going to be ready to go and maybe they're not up to the challenge, we talked in the open about how they've got a litany of Division I transfers, and they've already downed the top 10 team in Division II in Colorado School of the Mines. They know how to play.
They did it handily as well after it was a ball game last year. They're nearly lost by 20 points. Feed inside. They want to touch again to Hicks.
And it's interesting they did not dig the post right there. They let Hicks go one-on-one, and Tarleton didn't get a shot out of him. I'm surprised by that.
And now timer about to expire. Got to get something off. It's a 3 from Hicks, and it hits off the heel, but an offensive board. Isaac, wide open as you can get, and he knocks it down from the wing.
Can't lose him. He's just a fantastic player. Only scored 5 against Baylor in 36 minutes, but he's gaining confidence as he learns how to play here in the States.
Now 5 of 10 from outside, and Tarleton takes a 3-point edge. Jordan Crawford, the transfer from La Tech, feeds it off to McWright, and Mazzell picks up the steal. Leroy Kelly on the break, and a nice crafty finish.
The Texans do a really good job of getting downhill when they need to, and they can take advantage of opponents who are less than 100% in terms of getting back.
Crawford driving kick, Petaway buries the 3.
Boy, nice shot right there by Petaway. Kadir, a D1 transfer. He came highly recommended to Angelo State, a top 50 point guard at a high school, according to ESPN. He can shoot, and he's never nervous in big games like this.
His 10th three-pointer, that leads the team. Another feed to Hicks, and he does what he does so often, Scott, one of the leaders in the nation in drawing fouls, and he does right there.
And you take a look back at Freddie Hicks. He just knows how to get it to the open man. And when a guy like Isaac's that wide open, he's going to hit it more often than not. And look at the Texans in transition. You can't do it better than that.
So after the foul picked up, Hicks drawing so many fouls, it's allowed him to convert 499 career foul shots. That one just on the floor into Isaac, and he wrestles through. You like the game from Isaac.
I love him, and I love how he protects the dribble and protects the ball. Notice how he was fending off the defender with his left arm and then had it high and tight in his right, almost like a fullback in traffic, trying to finish off a run and then converted.
Jordan Crawford with a nice crossover, but he loses the handle.
The one thing that you're going to see tonight is a guy like Isaac and really Freddie Hicks. They're going to be able to kind of take their tie off, so to speak, and to kind of get into their game, whereas when you're playing opponents like LSU, SMU, and Baylor, sometimes you tend to play a little bit tight.
And it's an Angelo State team, Vinay Patel told us, not your typical exhibition game as Sigaskar draws the contact down low. And what I mean, Scott, is they have 6 Division I transfers, so not a typical D1 versus D2 matchup. And not to mention, they're one of the top D2 teams, but Sigaskar gets to the foul line.
And Vinay Patel mentioned that while we have all these D1s, you still have to work to grow them. This game now is all about player acquisition and development. And so while they might have played at the Division I level, they do have to work hard. They did a ton of work in the summer on individual stuff just to try to get players better. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they can't do, and there's Coach Patel there, they can't do what they do at the Division I level. 4 years he was the head coach at Northwestern Oklahoma State, and what a job he's done here at Angelo.
And Sigaskar does a nice job at the foul line. He's only missed 1 at the stripe this year. Redshirt freshman, 6'9", 230 out of France, donning the number 97. And step inside there, doesn't go from Zion Little. Loose on the hardwood, and a foul is going to be called.
And one thing that you'll notice from Little is that he didn't really dig into the defender like we usually see from Zion. Was a little bit tentative there and tentative on the finish. And Vinay Patel talked about how his career has kind of taken some different twists, and he said, hey, it's nothing new. Division II teams have been doing this for a long time before the portal era. Chris Reisman, who's on the Tarleton State staff, did it so many years here in Stephenville, getting players to come from the Division I level to play at D2. There are a lot of good players at every level.
And it's a 6-point edge for the Texans early on inside the EECU Center.
For Bud, the harmonica is a family affair. Now Bud's living with prostate cancer. He still knows how to groove, and he also knows once daily Xtandi. Xtandi treats metastatic prostate cancer that responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi is proven to help these men live longer. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. What a riff, bud. Ask your doctor about Xtandi.
After the under 16, and Sigiscar with a strong take to the rack.
It's the second touch in a row where Sigiscar's been able to put the ball on the deck and finish at the rim. He hasn't been able to do that a lot against the big-time opponents. This is going to be a game for him to get reps and to be able to take that into some of the bigger games in conference.
Backdoor cut and shifty move by Ashraf Barsham, but it's a turnover there for Angelo State.
Well, you look at Sigiscar going straight down the rim, didn't quite finish, but this is a guy that can really play with his back to the basket. He's learning how to play. He's from France, skilled, uses both hands, but just needs to get a little bit stronger, needs to play more minutes. Right now he's kind of reacting rather than anticipating, and they want to get him to think the game a little bit better.
Ton of potential for the big 6'9" man. And deep three, corner buried. Dior Johnson knows how to fill it up.
And Freddie Hicks knows how to get it to a guy that can fill it up. And immediately you saw Freddie Hicks doubled, and he didn't force it. He found the open man long opposite corner.
Dior Johnson, 11 of 16 from outside through 6 games. The leading scorer off the bench for Coach Gillespie. Tough take inside. Crawford goes again, and Isaac chases down the board, but he stepped out of bounds.
You see Angelo State struggling to get into any kind of flow offensively, and you look at Freddie Hicks. Notice how he anticipated the double, goes opposite corner, and Tarleton State does it again from beyond the arc. It's just fantastic work right there. Great scouting. Hicks knew it was coming, and Tarleton knocks it down. Dior, you see why he scored 42 in his last ball game at Baylor.
The second assist for Hicks. Both have set up three-pointers, and this is a Texans team who has not been that good from three-point range, but when the help comes inside, Hicks dishing it out. We'll see if that can continue. Tarleton State off to a nice start.
It's called taking what the defense gives you, and right now the Texans kind of getting back to doing what they do. Billy Gillespie a little bit disappointed they haven't stolen the ball more defensively. He says we haven't been playing defense at all to start.
And contact on Jaquai Murray's drive. He'll get to the foul line.
It's been such a point of emphasis, playing great defense. And he says we're not guarding the ball at all. And that's what Billy Gillespie has hung his hat on for 40 years. He said you can't give up straight line drives. We don't steal it much. We've got to anticipate more. Dior Johnson, the guy that's starting to do that.
He's a guy that other teams definitely going to be at the top of the scout. Over 100 points already. Just through 5 games, 20.6 per game, 42 at Baylor, a top 10 mark in the country.
And Baylor really guarded him well, too, and he still hit shots on the Bears.
Isaac, quick drive, pops from a few feet out. And it will go to the Rams after Isaac misfires.
And Isaac's really been playing some good basketball. Love watching his game, gaining in confidence. You mentioned coming over from New Zealand, and there's Sigiscar, the other part of that duo that's coming over from foreign lands. But Sigiscar is so skilled, and I love how when he caught it earlier in the game in the mid-post, he immediately faced up, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. It's about making decisions quickly and making the right decisions.
Crawford brings it across, admits the pressure from Mizell.
Tarleton going into their ball screen trapping that they hang their hat on.
Runner too strong from Callan Nichols. And the Texans a 10-point edge. Angelo State without a basket in over 3 minutes.
Well, Tarleton making it tough on them. It's going to be hard to score inside, and Angelo State still has yet to really shoot in rhythm. A high percentage of out-of-rhythm takes and bad takes.
Sigiscar turns, it rolls off the 10, but put right back in. Nice play made by the Texans. O'Cypher Owens crashing the glass.
Owens, experienced combo forward. He's had a lot of success everywhere he's been. He knows how to play and knows how to make everybody around him better.
Couple years at Lemoyne, wide open 3. Davon Scott misses short. Mizell on the glass.
The one thing that you notice out of the first media timeout is that Billy Gillespie kind of got up into his guys. They're playing faster. They're rebounding better.
And Owens, back-to-back baskets for number 24, the Orlando, Florida native.
And it's so easy to kind of fall into a style of play and a pacing that doesn't lead you to believe that you can beat a high-level team, and that's what the Texans have done the last 3 or 4 minutes, getting back to where they need to be from a tempo standpoint.
Ashraf Barsham with a nice bucket down low on the backdoor cut, beat his man.
Barsham 6'5", a Treasure Valley Community College player, averaging 7 a game so far this year.
At 19 a game at the community college level, and really good defender. Johnson turns it over and up the floor. Man, Ashraf Barsham, just talking about him, and he slams the rim.
And I love how Barsham did not speed up his drive to the basket there in transition, even though he had a defender coming right behind him. And he slams that thing home, and by being patient, he's able to turn that two-hand flush into a three-point play.
The junior out of Amarillo, Texas, but mentioned Treasure Valley up in Oregon, where he was 19 points a game, two-time conference defensive player of the year. Just playing about 10 minutes a night through 5 games.
And his length will play well in the Lone Star Conference at the 3 spot and the 4 spot. He's kind of a combo forward, power forward type player.
He had a 17-point game against New Mexico Highlands earlier this year. And a really nice dunk to slow down a run. Angelo State was approaching 4 minutes without points, but then they go back-to-back with baskets and cut it to a 9-point game, and Sigaskar throws it out of bounds.
Sigaskar not very happy. Jordan Mazzell, who has struggled so far this year at the point guard position, sort of looking at him going, hey, I've got a back cut right there. I was being denied. Why would you pitch it to me? And Billy Gillespie immediately pulling Sigaskar out for a mental mistake. You can handle the physical mistakes. It's the mental mistakes that drive you crazy as a coach.
And Angelo State, they forced 16.4 turnovers per game. That wasn't forced, but a team that the opposition definitely has coughed it up a lot against them. You don't want to help them out with the easy ones, and that is an easy one right there. Jordan Ryan with the flush.
That's a great find. And so in transition and now in the half court in back-to-back possessions, Angelo State kind of settling in. It's taken them about 8 minutes, but that's to be expected as a D2 opponent.
3 ball too strong from Cade Douglas. The Rams on a 7-0 run. Nichols steps back, baseline, and buries it. And the run, 9 straight points for the Rams.
And this is what Billy Gillespie was talking about when he said this is not a regular Division II opponent. Don't think this is going to be easy. And they've shown now in 3 straight possessions that they can play with a Division I opponent out of the WAC that some believe top 2 in the league this year.
Ashraf Barsham called for the block on the Mpaka take, and we've arrived at another media timeout. Texans up by 5, but the Rams charging a 9-0 run over the last 90 seconds.
You take a look at that tough shot. Those are the shots that they have to make and they have to take.
We are creating an unusually amazing customer experience.
We don't push product. We want to understand how we can help.
Where UMB and the relationship officers do a fantastic job is getting to know the customer, build trust, and let them know they care.
I think everyone sells relationship banking, but we deliver it.
Ah, the ponytail. The unofficial hairstyle of the morning rush. An official sign Caitlin needs a Diet Coke break. That's right, Caitlin. Hang out with him. Let your hair down. Or up. Up's good too. I actually like it like this.
Vinay Patel, 4th season at Angelo State, but he was excited to come down to Stephenville, Texas because of his time at West Texas A&M from 2005 to 2013. He had many trips here to Stephenville, but first inside this new EECU Center.
And there you see Rick Cooper, who he worked with for 9 years. And Coach Patel said, I got to give Rick everything. He gave me my start. I was a 21-year-old volunteer GA, didn't know anything, didn't know defense, didn't know shot selection. Didn't know anything about attention to detail, didn't know anything about doing things the right way, you name it. He said Rick Cooper was an incredible mentor. I learned everything from him and was fortunate to be there for 9 years, and all he's done is go on to coach at Rogers State, Oklahoma City University, Northwestern Oklahoma State, and now here at Angelo State, where he's really building something special.
He really is within the Lone Star Conference, a highly regarded team, 5-0 right now. His first couple years took him to the NCAA tournament and was excited to come here because of that near-decade stint at West Texas A&M when their Lone Star Conference foes with Tarleton State. But he also said another added element is the rivalry between Angelo State and Tarleton State. He said that's going to be part of my pregame speech tonight and tell the team that. Despite 13 newcomers, it's a component tonight, and the runner doesn't fall there from Quadir Petaway.
Petaway didn't hit the shot, but he got in close, and he took the take he wanted to take. Now that's 5 straight possessions for Angelo State where they look like Rams.
And Baca has it down low. Cam McDowell checking into the game, donning number 55.
And you mentioned Vinay Patel and that relationship with Tarleton State. It is special.
It really is, and after Petaway misfired, a foul called.
Yeah, and I was wondering, hey, who knows more about Oscar P. and the Purple Poo? Is it Coach Patel or Billy Gillespie? I couldn't believe Coach Patel knew all about that stuff.
That was crazy. He talked about the great matchups and the excitement that he has and all the great memories he had inside Wisdom Gym, and he was really excited to check out the new facility as well.
But he's pretty proud of what they have, too, over in San Angelo.
Really?
For the Division II level, they have a premier facility, $20 million.
One of the best in the country at that level, and the runner left short by Josiah McWright down on the wood. So Mpaka turns it over. Angelo State gets another good look, but unable to have it fall.
And Ryan a little bit disappointed that when he was on the floor, the ball hit him, and I think he might have had a foot out of bounds.
So Texans basketball into the game, number 25, Matthias Vrabel for Tarleton State as Isaac brings it up the floor.
Vrabel, a guy that has only seen an action in one game. That was the LSU game.
Did provide some decent minutes against the Tigers. Isaac, the shot clock at 5. O'Cipher on the take, rolls off. Vrabel fighting on the glass, and contact called down low. Looks like Jordan Ryan is going to get tagged with a foul. Indeed, the 6'7", 230-pound forward called for the contact, going for the board, and 3 Rams set to check in.
Gotta love the drive right there, though. But look at the fight for these boards. Look how scrappy this Angelo State team is. You have to love the fight by an undersized Angelo team who comes in here, again, having already defeated the number 10 team in Division II. They're not scared. They were a little off-kilter about the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game, but they've gotten the train wheels back on the tracks, and they tightened the gap a little bit.
O'Cipher Owens knocks the first through at the foul line. This is a Texans team toward the top of the country in terms of foul shots made.
Well, as Billy Gillespie mentioned, if you're a top player, you know how to draw fouls. You know how to get to the line and shoot 7 or 8 foul shots a game like Freddie Hicks. So if you want to average 15 points, it's very hard to hit 7 or 8 jump shots in a game. You just can't do that repeatedly. Plus, there are going to be games where your shot's not on, and you have to find a way to help your team. Freddie Hicks has certainly done that. He's taken more attempts at the foul line than any other team in Division I basketball.
And good thing for the Texans is they're in the bonus the rest of the way. 6 fouls already committed by the Rams, but a foul there for the Texans. Their 4th of the half, called on Kaya Isaac, guarding Jabari Berry closely.
And Isaac trying to use his chest, trying to use his feet, but I like the ability of Berry and the willingness to at least put the ball on the deck and force the Texans to defend that time. He got bumped off of his straight line drive and drew the foul.
Jaquai Murray taking it all the way to the cup.
If you can't drive, you can't play. And some of these big guys like Jaquai Murray and Freddie Hicks and a few other guys that we've seen, O'Cipher Owens, they have the length, but they also have the handles, too, to go with it.
Vrabel Owens, quick pass. McDowell stepping into the three with confidence. It's in and out.
Had side spin rotation on that shot, which is not what you want, but it almost went down.
Jordan Crawford trying to set up this offense, and Davon Scott, tough two over Mazzell.
Well, you see why he was a top 10 recruit out of the state of Oklahoma. He had 18 in his first game. Those are the shots the Texans hit against Baylor. Really tough takes. That was a really tough make.
And the Texans cough up the basketball, but they get fortunate because Barry was standing on the baseline as they looked like they had a turnover.
They did, and you watch this. Love how they're using some of the indie moves that they worked on this summer on the spin move, the pull up from 12 feet away. That's a tough make and a really nice shot by Angelo State. This Angelo State team almost shooting 50% after they got off to a horrid start.
Dior Johnson off the baseline, out of bounds.
Oh, a really nice shot right there by Dior Johnson. That's why he had 42 against the Baylor Bears, a guy that was guarded pretty well by Baylor. Smartest offensive player that the Texans have. He knows when to shoot, and he knows when to pull back.
42 against Baylor, Scott. I'm sure the rest of the Western Athletic Conference got a little bit worried. How are they going to guard this guy this year? That's a three that is swished from the corner. Zion Little knocking it down. We've got a 4-point ball game.
We do, and I don't think Billy Gillespie's very happy about that. We got a technical foul here.
We do indeed. We'll see what it's assessed on. We're just a moment away from a media timeout. The three is buried there by Zion Little, so the technical looks like it's against Angelo.
I think Little turned and said something to the Tarleton bench.
That'll come at a price because Dior Johnson's so lethal at the foul line.
And you'll get two shots and the ball here if you're Tarleton State. And if you have any chance to come in here and upset a Division I team like Tarleton, you can't do stuff like that, especially when you're losing the game. Nice job to drive and draw the double, and it's a nice hit there from the outside, but you just can't turn and say something to the other bench.
Got a little excited after knocking down the three. They are 2 for 3 from outside, the Rams are. Tarleton State 2 for 6, but the technical foul, Dior Johnson makes them pay with a couple of made foul shots. After that three brought him within 4. Mpaka stepping through the lane. Too strong. O'Cypher Orens crashes the offensive glass.
Jakai Murray stayed in front to make that a tough shot right there, but the Texans got it back.
Jakai Murray coming up with the rejection for the moment. Scrambled everywhere. O'Cypher Owens did a great job getting the second opportunity, but then a foul called on the third try, and we've reached a media timeout. 28-22, Tarleton State on top. 7.5 left in the first half.
The holidays can be a lot, but with your new Dell PC with Intel inside, you can handle a lot. From taking care of holiday to-dos to taking care of Aunt Jean, even if she can be a lot.
Oh my goodness. Look at your little boo. What happened?
Other Saturdays.
Okay, you gotta be careful, okay?
I know.
And let's get you off your feet. We're gonna get your Medicare prescriptions delivered.
When life gets the best of you, get the best help with your prescriptions.
Angelo State has gone from being down 14 to only down by 6 right here by hitting some tough shots. And you see these guards getting into the action, driving, drawing the double, kicking it out for the open shot, and Zion Little putting it in the basket. They're starting to get into more of a flow of their offense. That's what we saw when they played the number 10 team of the country in Division II when they upset the Colorado School of the Mines.
Davon Scott out of the timeout, turns it over, but Mpaka called for the double.
Boy, a silly turnover right there. That's what Billy Gillespie was talking about, how they're turning it over too much, not making smart plays. And they really feel like, having played LSU, SMU, and also Baylor, that they had a chance to win all 3 of those games. He said that SMU game, that wasn't a 20-point loss. And I'm here to tell you, having worked that game, it wasn't. It was a 7-point game with about 5 minutes to go, and SMU had to go into a zone because Billy Gillespie's team was driving to the basket so often and so well. It said a lot about the proficiency of the Tarleton offense. SMU was a little bit worried about it.
Tarleton State forces a turnover right there, and to your point, Scott, Baylor had to do the same thing. They had to go into his zone, and they really struggled to guard Tarleton State, in particular Dior Johnson with 42 points.
It's such a compliment to a team when you're relegated to having to do that, because man-to-man teams don't want to play zone, only when they have to. And Billy Gillespie says, hey, we're not into moral victories here, but what we are in is building on successes, and that was certainly a success that could be procured from both of those two big games that they've already had.
So the call on the court was that it was off Jabari Berry after it looked like Dior Johnson forced the turnover. They're now reviewing this to see who it was last off, is what we believe the case is here. But it is a great point about Tarleton State and their offense. And so far in this game, shooting 47%. But Angelo State, they've made half their shots tonight.
They have, and I'm surprised that they've been able to get into this sort of a flow. But a guy that's not surprised is Vinay Patel. And you look at this last play right here. The one thing that you notice is that with the ball loose, both of these two programs pride themselves on making hustle plays. So you see the scrappiness. And not sure who touched that last. Dior Johnson had a hand on it. Devon Scott, was it number 11 for Angelo State? Hard to tell from that angle.
It is hard to tell. And Casey McClellan, Cody Crum, and Trent Lovewell all at the scorer's table are officials tonight looking things over. It's either off Dior Johnson or Devon Scott.
And I got to believe that with those replays, the call on the floor will probably stand. I don't know that they have enough evidence to overturn this.
And they're also perhaps looking at, if there wasn't a clear change of possession, then what would they have to do with the clock as well?
Yes. They've got 9 on the shot clock right here. If it does indeed go back to the offense, they're going to keep the clock right where it is, and it will. Vinay Patel wants a little bit of an explanation here. He's calling the two far side officials over. Billy Gillespie was giving his input before they made the decision.
You always want an explanation, right?
Yes.
Hey, what did you guys see on the monitors? We want to know.
And whenever you can help, you're not afraid to do that either.
Here's my 2 cents. But the Rams with the basketball. Not much on the timer. Out for a 3. Isaac with the hard closeout. It's way too strong. Dior Johnson grabs the rebound, but it's a shot clock violation. The Texans were on the break. They'll have that stopped with the shot clock violation.
But I loved how Barsham ended up getting doubled and had the presence to pick the ball up and get it to the open man rather than trying to dribble through the trap, which is sometimes what you see with inexperienced teams. But, hey, again, 6 of these guys came from the Division I level. They know how to play.
And a foul called against the Texans. It's like Douglas off the ball. Billy Gillespie wanting an explanation. We'll see if we can take another peek at that. But the Texans with another turnover as they commit a foul off the ball there, Scott.
It's interesting. Billy Gillespie works officials about as well as anybody that I've seen at this level. Rarely, and I can't remember though. Somebody asked me today, hey, when's the last time you saw Billy get teed up at a game? I said, I can't remember the last time I saw that. But he knows where that line is and where to push.
There's a foul against Quadir Petaway going for the rebound that Isaac took away. So he'll have shots at the line. A 1-and-1 upcoming for Kaya Isaac. We do have a technical tonight, but you're right, not on Billy Gillespie. That was against Angelo State after they knocked down a 3. And Zion Little.
Yeah, it looked like he grabbed the arm right there. So a pretty good call right there. Pretty easy call for the official. But Billy Gillespie not only well-versed in working officials, he also knows how to draw up the X's and O's, as Pat Nunley said the other day. He said, hey, this guy, Billy Gillespie, may be the best X's and O's guy in the country right now. What a compliment.
Yeah, high praise coming from a Hall of Famer as well.
No doubt. And, you know, I love when Coach Gillespie talks about how if you're going to be good at something, dedicate yourself to it. Put the time into it, because no matter where you are, everybody can get better. And he tries to get better as a coach. He's always talking with his friends in the coaching community, Hall of Famers, and saying, hey, watch our game. What do you think? How can we get better? But that's what you have to do. Great teams, great players, great coaches. If you're great at anything you do, you're putting the work in to try to get a little bit better every day.
Chris Mpaka committing the foul after he coughed it up on the other end. They're on Jaquai Murray.
Well, great hands right there. And those are the hands that Billy Gillespie just has not seen enough of in the first 5 games coming into this season. He knows that you've got to do the little things, because if you can pay attention to the details, those little things turn into big things. And if you can get 29 deflections in a game, you're going to win 90% of the time. But these are habits, and it's not about just getting deflections in this game. It's about creating these defensive habits that we have not seen out of the Texans so they can carry this into conference play.
And Mpaka has to go to the bench. That's his second here in the first half. Crawford trying to facilitate the offense, and he coughs it up. He had been really good in his assist-to-turnover ratio, just over 3 through 5 games, but an error right there.
16-5, assist-to-turnover ratio, fantastic character, great leader, but his floor vision, he's an elite passer, but I've noticed he's been doing a lot of dribbling tonight. Got to get your eyes up, especially when you're on the attack.
He's on the all-freshman team at Louisiana Tech. Spent 3 years under Talvin Hester. Johnson stops, pops, and it falls.
Great ball screen defense by Angelo State. That's the shot that they want Johnson to take, but those are the tough takes that allow you to score in the 40s against a Power 4 team like he did the other night.
9 points for Dior Johnson, 3 of 4 from the floor.
Boy, that's the anticipation that Gillespie would like. Kelly should have jumped that pass. I can't believe it went through. And, you know, that's something that they'll be looking at the tape about.
Now the shot clock winding down. Just 5 seconds left. Crawford, a driving kick. Nichols knifing through the lane. The runner too strong. Crawford tries to put it back in, and it's wrestled down by Leroy Kelly.
And even though the Rams didn't score, that was their best offensive possession of the game. 2 fantastic drives on time.
Kaya Isaac off the side of the window. Tough angle. McWright pushing, and the reverse layup goes.
And even though Isaac was able to get McWright to change direction and to get off the straight line drive, they're still able to score. Really good job there by the Angelo State point guard.
Jordan Crawford, now 1 of 3 from the floor. More of a facilitator, but providing offense running the floor. And now Dior Johnson drives straight down the line, and contact that he draws will result in foul shots for number 7.
And McWright was hoping to get the strip because balls on hips get stripped, but when you let a driver get that deep, you're going to be in trouble. You become immediately vulnerable, and I'm a little bit surprised that Angelo State allowed him to drive that deep toward the cup.
The story of Dior Johnson is a pretty incredible one. Mentioned it's his 4th college that he's been at. He also was at 4 different high schools. In 7th grade, he started playing varsity from Kingston, New York, and then IMG Academy in Oak Hill, some highly prominent prep programs, and eventually he finds himself at UCF last year, but he led the country in scoring at the JUCO level the year before that, now here at Tarleton State.
Everyone knows he can play. It's just where is he going to plant? Where is he going to really grow? And, you know, oftentimes when Tarleton's had trouble scoring, they go to Johnson because they know he can make something out of nothing. He's that kind of player.
Tough take inside by McWright.
And Angelo State's been able to get inside consistently. They just haven't been able to finish.
And a finish by the Texans rolls off, but O'Cypher Owens is right there to put it in.
And that's the kind of transition basket that might prompt a timeout. But in college basketball the last several years, you only get 4 of those. During the old days where you got 5, that would have been an immediate timeout. But Vinay Patel trying to smile through some frustration there and let him play. Oh, great find.
The find down low to Jordan Ryan, but off his hands. 3:38 to go, and Tarleton State ahead by 10. Late here in the first half, the Texans with the advantage. Dior Johnson in double digits again.
Boy, a great drive by Johnson, the shot fake, and then he makes it look easy with that 15-footer on the baseline. And the transition game is something that they've leaned on to extend the lead. It's at 10.
That pony ponytail is a sign Caitlin didn't have time for the hairdryer this morning. A sign she needs a Diet Coke break. That's it, Caitlin. Let your hair down. Or up. Yeah, up's good too.
With less burning, itching, and pain from moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, imagine being a million miles away. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. Most people saw 100% clear skin that stayed clear, even at 5 years. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
It's ahead by 10. Back to action alongside Scott Garner. I'm Will Conerly. And Tarleton State leading by 10. 3.5 left in the first half. And Damon Porter Jr., number 10, with the ball in his hands. Introduce the freshman to you from Chicago, Illinois. This is his first action of the year as Andy Sigisgaard drives downhill and draws contact. And for this big rotation, Damon Porter Jr., another aspect of that, Scott.
And I love how Sigisgaard has tried to attack from the perimeter a couple of times, and he's able to do that against an opponent tonight, and maybe he'll make that a part of his game more regularly. But you're right. This big rotation for this Tarleton team, last year they had 6 guys that were injured. They've got a couple of guys now that they really would like to get more playing time to, but they're hurt, and everybody's still trying to figure things out. But it's a deep team, this Tarleton team. They've got more options off the bench this year probably than they've had in any of the previous years under Billy Gillespie. He's got a lot of good players, and if they got a couple that don't want to go hard, he can go immediately to the bench. And it kind of reminded me of what Gino Ariema said when I asked him after a game a few years back. I said, how do you get your players to play hard all the time? They're always in the right spot. He goes, that's real easy, Scott. I said, it is? He goes, oh, yeah. If one doesn't want to do it, I've got 5 McDonald's All-Americans right there ready to go.
The 3 from the corner, long from Barsham. And the Texans pick it up. Off to Porter Jr., his first action as a Texan. Part of that deep Billy Gillespie bench, popping from the elbow, and Dior Johnson, smooth and silky.
Devon Scott, the freshman, forced him into a tough shot, and he was able to knock it down anyway. It's been a recurring theme in this game. The Texans hitting more shots on a tough scale than normal.
Jordan Ryan can't finish on the low block.
Boy, that's also been a recurring theme, just getting inside and not being able to put the ball in the hole.
Dior Johnson puts it in the hole quite a bit. He'll have 2 opportunities at the foul line after drawing the contact. And Scott, you mentioned 6 guys hurt.
And look at this drive right here. At least you get a piece of the paint, and then a fantastic drive by Johnson. He not only knows how to kick it into high gear, but protect the dribble and able to convert. It's nice to see him in a Tarleton uniform, Kingston, New York native. And it's really a piece that they've been missing. You know, to have him and Freddie Hicks in the same lineup, it's a team that can beat anybody. And even though Tarleton's lost to LSU, lost to SMU, lost to Baylor, Billy Gillespie really felt like with a couple of better decisions in crunch moments that they'd had a chance and probably could have beaten at least one, if not 2 of those 3 teams.
And all 3 of those teams likely NCAA tournament contenders this year. It's Dior Johnson at the foul line. Making moves for the Texans this year as Callan Nichols, he has a trip to the line himself up on the other end.
And with the length, with the athleticism, Nichols, typically with that kind of floor spacing, is able to get to the rack easily against most opponents on their schedule, but not against Tarleton State. The help came late, and I think it kind of surprised Nichols, and he was relegated into going with that windmill-style finish.
So the made foul shot stops a 9-0 run for Tarleton State. The first point in the last 2.5 minutes for Angelo State.
This guy, Nichols, played 30 minutes last game, a combo guard, really talented, and we saw the burst that they really like.
Kaya Isaac turns it over. And for this Tarleton State team, deep bench, as you mentioned, and they kind of had to do that out of necessity last year. Their top 6 guys going down, and early on in the season. This is what you try to find out, what your team's made of, and it's an opportunity for Porter right now, picking up on the point guard, Callan Nichols.
And I love how Billy Gillespie never uses excuses. Great leaders never give excuses. They never accept excuses. They just strap it on every single game, and they get with it.
Andy Sigaskar climbing the ladder for the rebound, and nobody was riding the elevator as high as him, and the contact is called. That's going to be against the Texans, though, and foul shots upcoming for Ashraf Barsham.
And you look at the numbers here, and Angelo State just one of their last 9 from the field. And Tarleton's been able to stretch the lead out a little bit, and you can't miss foul shots if you're going to stay in a game like this.
Barsham can't connect the front end of the 1-and-1 after the foul on Porter, and now Dior Johnson fading away. He'll go back to the foul line. He's already 6 of 6 tonight. From the strike.
When you hit shots repeatedly like that, you're going to get guys like Barsham to get up in you a little bit too far. He played defense with his chest, but you can't displace a shooter like that.
And so Dior Johnson back at the line, 15, now 16 points in this first half. He's 7 of 7 at the foul line in this rivalry matchup. Scott, 82nd meeting between these two teams, but first since 2019, Tarleton State's last year in the Lone Star Conference.
It goes back so many decades, not years, but decades between these two teams. And it's funny how the coaching staff still know each other. Chris Reisman, who coached here, he was the predecessor for Coach Gillespie. He's still on staff here. They talk all the time, but this Angelo State team under Vinay Patel has done such a great job. They won 26 games last year. Remember, in his second year, they were number 10 in the country, suffered some injuries before they kind of worked their way back down, but he knows how to coach, and this is a rising program.
And Johnson has it deflected out of bounds, and it's a rising roster as well. Pretty crazy to think Angelo State starts 5-0, and they returned 1 basket from last year. The only returners to this Rams team were 2 walk-ons from a year ago.
The chemistry is amazing. You don't see guys that don't play together have the kind of chemistry that they have. And they really attribute it to doing a lot of what they call team building in the offseason. Not only did they do a lot of indie work, individual work, working on ball skills, shooting, things like that, but they did a lot of team building. Escape rooms. I don't know if you've ever done an escape room before, but they did that. They played Jeopardy. They played charades. It's almost like they locked the cell phones up for a little while doing all of that stuff. But that's what teams are starting to do now. You know, the McNeese women's coach, Coach Gazzardo, does that too. She says it's really easy in this era of NIL and transfer portal to neglect that part of it because you don't know the players as much, but that still has to very much be a part of it because you need that chemistry when times get tough.
And Angelo State turns it over for a 9th time in the first half. And the chemistry, both teams, plenty of newcomers, and it is difficult when you're trying to build a program and new guys learning new systems. But Vinay Patel said one luxury they had, a lot of older guys that have been coached by some great coaches to pick up that system quicker.
They have been, but I love Coach Patel's system. He likes to keep things simple. They don't install too many things too soon, and they let these guys kind of learn each other. A lot of times in any business, it's about the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Tarleton State trying to keep it simple defensively, forcing another miss. Angelo State's missed their last 5 from the floor. Dior Johnson, tough up the floor.
Boy, this guy does not miss. Holy smokes, he's got 20 here in the first half. Are you kidding me? And you mentioned how he just keeps hitting shot after shot, 9 of 10 at the line. What I thought was interesting is that he had 42 against Baylor, not 1 rebound. When's the last? I bet that's an NCAA record. I bet a guy's never had in the 40s scoring and not 1 rebound.
Maybe he can have a higher total here in the first half as the Texans will hold it for a final shot. So after dropping 42 in Foster Pavilion a few days ago, Dior Johnson already with 20 in the first half. Can he add on more? And he gets swatted at the buzzer. Jordan Ryan with a great defensive play to close the first half for the Rams.
But what a great ending to the first half for Billy Gillespie, who takes a 4-point lead and extends it now to 19 with a 14-1 run over the last 4.5 minutes. What a job. And you see the Texans, they push in transition. They put pressure on the Angelo defense. And Dior Johnson just hits shot after shot after shot. And he takes it to the rim with authority and converts.
44-25, Tarleton State leading at halftime here inside the EECU Center. Non-conference action, but the Tarleton State Texans looking to improve to 3-0 in this building as we welcome you courtside. He's Scott Garner. I'm Will Conerly. And the Tarleton State Texans use a 14-1 run to close out that first half, and Dior Johnson doing Dior Johnson things. After a 42-point effort, he goes for 20 in the first half tonight.
He was incredible. His shot-making skills, I think, have gotten better over the last couple of days since they played Baylor, and he had 42. Just a great job of getting to his spots and finishing and doing it against players that are playing good defense on him. So tight that he's getting fouled shooting, and you never want to foul a jump shooter. Dion doing great, but this Texan team, they are plus 10 in points in transition and plus 8 in the paint. That'll play.
So Dior Johnson on pace for another 40-point night. Could be pretty impressive. Doing it, getting to the foul line as well. Coach Gillespie mentioned good players know how to get to the line. It's hard to make 7, 8, 9 jump shots a game, and he's taking advantage of those opportunities as the whole Texans team is at the charity stripe.
And taking advantage of chances when they have a chance to drive, when they have that spacing. They're really forcing Angelo State to protect the paint, but also I think the Texans did a great job of driving, drawing the double team, and then kicking it to the open man, and they're hitting shots. That always helps.
Midway through the first half, Zion Little for the Rams hit a 3, made it a 4-point game, but a technical foul. Dior Johnson took advantage of the foul shots, and then Tarleton State closes the half on a 14-1 run. What was the biggest difference in that run to close the first half?
It's interesting you mentioned that about the technical foul, because oftentimes coaches absolutely detest getting a technical foul on the road in a tightly contested game, which this one had become. It was a 4-point game after that 3-ball that you mentioned, and right after that the Texans were able to extend the lead. The momentum shifted, and I've got to believe that Coach Patel's going to say something at halftime.
You got to believe something else as well. A staple segment here for Tarleton State broadcasts. Trivia. So we're going to look at some trivia right now, Scott.
Hey, if Vinay Patel can play Jeopardy with his team, can't we go into trivia here at halftime?
We can. What is San Angelo's nickname? That is the trivia question tonight. For reference, we know the nickname for Stephenville, Texas, the cowboy capital of the world. What is it for San Angelo? Something to ponder tonight.
That's a great question. Am I going to have a commercial break to think about this?
No, apparently. Production room tells us no commercial break. We are put on the spot. I am going. I'm guessing option A, the Star of the Plains. What do you think, Scott?
You know why I think that's a great guess? Because they are in the Plains. They're in the Great Plains. That's the region that they're in. I'm going to agree with you. Let's do that. Let's go with the Star of the Plains.
All right.
Oh, Pearl of the Conchos.
Man, those were some great options, though. Gateway to the desert? Wow.
You know, I think Blaine got tired of us getting these right. He had to throw one of those. That was tricky now. That was tricky. That was a star-like question.
It definitely was, but we will have more halftime coming up your way. Tarleton State in control at the break.
I stand alone with fire inside. This heart's a drum, I won't subside. Against the odds, I'll rise again with passion burning in my veins.
Hey, Meta, play long time.
I get you inspired.
Excuse me, where's the C train?
Hey, Meta, where's the C train?
It's 200 feet to the left.
Thank you.
44-25, Tarleton State leading at halftime in the 82nd all-time meeting between the Rams of Angelo State and the Tarleton State Texans. Courtside here at the EECU Center, he's Scott Garner, I'm Will Conerly, and the Tarleton State Texans closed the half on a big run. And there were some critical areas on the stat sheet where they took advantage of it in that first half, Scott.
They did, and the one number that kind of jumps out to me is the number 1, and that's the second chance point that Angelo State has. And they've had the ball inside a few times, and they've had some offensive rebounds that they just have not taken advantage of. But getting to the rim has not been a problem. Finishing at the rim has absolutely been their Achilles heel so far.
And withstanding runs, always a big thing. Tarleton State withstands a 9-0 Angelo State run in that first half. They have a 14-1 run to close the half on the punch their own. Many of the points in that run at the foul line. They make 16 foul shots in that first half. A big advantage for the Texans at the free throw line.
No doubt about it, but just the toughness, the sheer willingness to drive through defenders, enabling them to get to the foul line and doing it without the benefit of Freddie Hicks the last part of that first half.
Yeah, Freddie Hicks unfortunately not going to return in this ball game, but we will return on the other side of this break. Second half coming up next from Stephenville.
I stand alone with fire inside. This heart's a drum, I won't subside. Against the odds, I'll rise again with passion burning in my veins.
Hey, Matter, play long time.
Excuse me, where's the C train?
Hey, Matter, where's the C train?
It's 200 feet to the left.
A 14-run run for the Texans, and they're doing it in transition. What a finish right there. Couldn't quite get it to go, but a fantastic tip followed by Owens. And then the on-ball defense drawing the double, kicking it out. Zion Little from the corner, making it look easy there. And then Freddie Hicks getting it over to an open Isaac, who did what he did against Baylor and knocked down shots on a catch and shoot from the perimeter. Love the shot faking here. It goes back to the fundamentals, and Ryan able to get it to go home. But Mazzell has had a tough season, leaning in off the double team and kissing it off the window. One of a number of highlights we saw down inside for the Texans. But how about this guy, Dior Johnson? Tough take after tough take and tough makes tonight for a guy who just had 42 against Baylor to pack in 20. Talk about consistency. He is that tonight.
A 32-point game, a 42-point game, and a 20-point half already on the resume for Dior Johnson. That's before we even get into Western Athletic Conference play. The glass was also a big factor in the first half. Tarleton State +7, and O'Cypher Owens leading the way on the boards. 5 rebounds in the first half.
Size and length helps, but the willingness to do the dirty work is something that's ingrained in you, and this isn't something that Tarleton just came out with tonight. You're not just seeing a switch being flipped. This is what Tarleton does, and it doesn't matter the opponent. They're going to win the glass. You take a look at the rebounds. Tarleton was +13 in rebounds against Baylor. +13 in boards against Baylor. That's hard to do in a game that they ended up losing. But Tarleton has won the rebound battle each of the last 3 games after losing the boards in 2 straight. They had to make a little bit of an adjustment, but Dior has absolutely been dominating.
New career high at Baylor with 42. For the Texans, the most in the D1 era, most in a single game this year, and the most ever at Foster Pavilion, and that great facility as well. Brand new one, pretty new, and most by a visiting player that he had in the 42 the other night.
And I love the angle of repose that the stands are built with over there in Waco now with that new facility. Kind of reminds you of some of the hockey stadiums up north.
Indeed it does. They've got a great program down there, but the Texans certainly gave them a good effort the other night and a good effort to force another turnover the 10th time. The Rams cough it up as we're underway in the second half.
But you were talking about rebounding, and that's certainly a number that they always look at. It was interesting that the Texans lost the rebound battle the first 2 games of the year. Billy Gillespie had to have a sit-down with them. They've won the boards ever since.
Damon Porter Jr., who hadn't played a minute before tonight, he's starting in the second half, along with O'Cypher Owens, who grabs his 6th board.
And how about a rebound with one hand for Owens? They do drills here at Tarleton to try to get guys accustomed to that.
Chris Mpaka trying to get the ball in his hands down low, and he draws the foul. The deep catch by the big Chris Mpaka down low, tough to handle.
Haven't talked much about him tonight, but he has made such a big improvement just the last 2 games compared to the first 3 of the season. He's more active against Merrimack. He did it with the dunk, and Freddie Hicks would feed it to him. As you saw, Vinay Patel, I'm sure, looking on a little bit concerned, not only with the scoreboard, but how the disparity has sort of gotten bigger between the 2 teams. But this guy, Mpaka, dunked 6 balls. When they decided to finally throw it to him consistently, that's how he can take over a game inside.
The other night against Merrimack, their last home game, he had 24 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks, and as you mentioned, 6 dunks, some highlight reels for sure. He hasn't played much, only 5 minutes in that first half of action, but at the foul line.
But I love how he got keyboards against Baylor early. Billy Gillespie always talking to his players, getting them to do the little things right, and certainly the big switch from not being very active to being very active has a lot to do with coaching, because great coaches can get 100% effort out of their players 90% of the time, and Billy Gillespie is an absolute master at that.
Zion Little to McWright's drive, and Owens grabs the arm. He'll get called for the foul.
Good drive there by McWright. Again, this is a 3. They really use him as a 3 guard, but when you drive in against Tarleton State, you kind of get yourself into unfamiliar territory, and it's a good thing that McWright got bailed out with a foul right there, because he had 0 chance to finish that. That's the one thing that you notice here. Drivers are driving when they should. It's when they get inside here tonight that they have a difficult time determining, do I speed stop, do I jump stop, do I kick it out, do I try to finish? So those decisions inside have not been all that polished for the Rams.
The foul shot knocked down. That foul was actually on Chris Mpaka, so his 3rd. Him and Owens were right there, but McWright finally getting on the board at the foul line. Mpaka, backdoor cut, it's swiped away. In the passing lane was Jaquai Murray.
Those are the backdoor cuts that Billy Gillespie would like to see executed. You've got to have that against tough opponents.
Corner doesn't hit from McWright, but the Rams force a takeaway and drive inside. Mpaka swats it up top, but contact down low, and McWright down to the deck, shaken up.
Strongest drive of the night for either team. And Josiah McWright, the senior out of Houston, a Tulsa transfer, boy, took the brunt of that one. But you have to admire the courage shown right there by McWright. Sometimes you don't want to go in that hard, but you have to have success.
He was the 3rd best prospect out of Houston.
That's a great job right there. And you say, well, he was certainly outside the chart circle. I love the fact that Porter was willing to close out outside the lane. And they're going to look at that in film, I'm sure, and say, hey, this is how you do it right there. He just wasn't quite in what they call legal guarding position, wasn't quite in front. You don't have to have your feet set. You just have to be in legal guarding position, and if you're displaced enough, they'll call the charge. But it's about 80-20 now between blocks and charges. It's not a 50-50 call like it was 2.5 years ago when they changed the rule.
3 turnovers for the Texans over the last minute. McWright can't connect on the foul shot, but Sigaskar knocks it down.
Well, you can't just let a guy take it away from you, but that's how strong Andy is.
The big redshirt freshman. Coach Gillespie believes definitely some big things could be in the works.
Like the patience, like the ball reversal here, like the spacing. A lot to like about this offensive possession here for Tarleton.
Sigaskar with the touchdown low as the shot clock was about to expire, and he draws the contact. Jaquai Murray unable to handle the big man.
It's interesting. You know, I expected Angelo State to come in here and just repeatedly dig the post, but we haven't seen that a lot. Sigaskar has been catching higher than I expected to. He's been catching in the mid-post and the high post rather than in the low block, and Billy Gillespie expected Angelo State to pretty much dig everything as well. That hasn't been the case. They've forced Sigaskar to make decisions, and he's done a good job of facing up and drawing fouls.
Sigaskar too long on the first attempt from the line. So Jordan Mazzell checks in.
But the one thing you notice is that Sigaskar is more reacting instead of anticipating. But that can be said for a lot of players on this Tarleton State team. They're smart. They have high IQs. But it's about getting the reps in where you can start really understanding what's coming. And Billy Gillespie kind of compared it to a movie, didn't he?
He did. That was very interesting. A movie you've seen 1,000 times. You know all the scenes and all the sequences. And he says, well, for Sigaskar, doesn't know all those things yet. But when he does, he could be a very dangerous player. And a big man down low who they hope can dominate in the whack as that rolls off the rim from Zion Little, but fighting is Crawford down low.
It's interesting. They do everything right. They get the shot they wanted. They get the putback they wanted, but Jordan Crawford against that length having a hard time putting it back. So they get the three they wanted, and there's Crawford with a left hand. He just couldn't quite finish, but at least he was able to draw the foul.
And one thing Coach Gillespie mentioned, too, about the Rams, he said this is a really strong team. Jordan Crawford, I believe, falls into this category. He said there's 4, 5, 6 guys on this team that pretty much every team in the Western Athletic Conference would want on their roster. Jordan Crawford, a good example, the young man out of Ruston, Louisiana, who started his career at Louisiana Tech and got a lot of minutes as their point guard, now the floor general for the Rams here.
And what Division II coaches now become concerned with is when a guy like Dior Johnson or let's say Petaway or anybody on this Angelo State roster goes into a Tarleton State or goes into a Baylor and has a great game, you become worried about getting poached from some of these Division I teams.
The year-by-year basis now. Sigaskar turns and off the mark. Jordan Crawford trying to set up the offense. And a walk called on the penetration by Zion Little.
And that really is all caused by the ball pressure. You don't expect a 6'9" post to be out there defending on the perimeter. Certainly Little didn't. And when he went to rip through, he moves the pivot foot. There he is right there. He got caught between, do I drive, do I pass, do I shoot? What do I do here? That little bit of hesitation and not using that left foot as his dominant pivot foot got him in problems.
Leroy Kelly the fourth. They enter down low again. Sigaskar will have a chance to add on one more.
If we get another look at this, I want you to notice how he shot fakes in his seat. Great fundamentals, and then he leans in, doesn't fade at the rim. He leans into the contact, going through the contact. Just a fantastic job by Andy Sigaskar. These are the little things that will allow him to maneuver up the levels.
Sinks the foul shot. That's 19 made foul shots tonight for Tarleton State.
That's nice, and it's not that you've made 19. It's that you're getting to the line that many times. When you have made more than your opponent has taken, coaches really like that.
Sigaskar redshirted last year due to a foot injury, but playing a big role down low, and on the other end, looked like he had a good defensive play in the works, but instead called for the contact on the Jordan Ryan take on the block.
Well, you watch Sigaskar again. This is just fantastic. Love how they get it to him, but notice how he ends up using the shot fake, but stays squatted, stays in his seat. That's what they call staying in your seat. And then he leaned into the contact. Just a fantastic job right there by the 6'9" redshirt freshman out of New Orleans, in Orleans, France, I should say, Andy Sigaskar.
It's interesting with all the pieces, Sigaskar down low, no Freddie Hicks here in this second half, won't return to the game, and potentially different personnel. You can see that deeper bench could get deeper. We saw it tonight with Damon Porter Jr. handling things up top at the 1-2, so the Chicago, Illinois native, another element for Billy Gillespie as well at that point guard spot.
Sometimes people wonder, why do you even schedule a game like this? Why are you playing Division II after you just played Baylor, LSU, SMU, Merrimack? These are big name schools. What's the reasoning? Well, the reasoning is, there comes a point in time where you need to play opponents like this where you're really working on things. And they're giving you enough resistance to where they're forcing you to play at game speed, and you can work on the little things like staying in your seat on a shot fake.
Rams just 2 of 9 now from distance after Nichols misfires. Kaya Isaac, they are feeding the paint all half long. Good pass out of the post. Kelly for three, and it's long.
Not only a good pass, the right pass, and on time. Those are the little things that will allow a player to reach that next level.
Crawford picks up the swipe. Drive inside. Sigaskar swats it. Offensive board, though, an opportunity upcoming for Jordan Ryan.
Love the offensive rebound, but Nichols there on the bounce would have been better served with a one-dribble pull-up. That extra dribble got him into trouble. And you look at it here, it's a great attack, but you would really like to use that one-dribble pull-up. Great block by Tarleton.
49-31, Tarleton State in control here in the second half. Okay, yeah, one thing I find interesting, too, is like Dior Johnson just...
We're large enough to provide the services, the economies of scale, but small enough to build relationships. I think everyone sells relationship banking, but we deliver it.
I stand alone with fire inside. This heart's a drum, I won't subside. Against the odds, I'll rise again with passion burning in my veins.
With him about how he has seen that 1,000 times. And for Sigaskar, it's kind of his first experience. Redshirted last year, and he's seeing things for the first time as a college basketball player. But as he continues to watch those movies, he'll get it going and get more comfortable.
That's right. He'll be able to anticipate rather than react, and that's the whole point. That's what Billy was talking about. But I made the mistake. I was going to ask him if they made a movie about Billy Gillespie. It would be an interesting movie, I promise you. But if they made a movie about him, who do you think should play Billy Gillespie?
Hey, next time you get an opportunity, that's the question.
I had a buddy of mine suggest Dennis Hopper. Hopper should play Billy. What do you think?
I think that's fantastic. But that's the thing, too. It was an interesting way to refer to what we knew he was talking about, which is anticipating things. I know what scenes are coming in A Few Good Men. It's my favorite movie. But for Andy Sigaskar, sometimes he does things and he's surprised because he doesn't know what's coming. But, yes, we do need to get that Billy Gillespie movie out.
That would be so much fun. Billy's been in so many different places. He used to coach high school back in Central Texas. He was the head coach at Colleen Ellison when Ellison and Temple squared off. I believe it was 5 times in the 1992-93 season. But from there, Billy ends up going to UTEP, then to A&M, and from A&M he ends up going to Kentucky and left Kentucky, went to Texas Tech, then to Ranger College, and here he is at Tarleton State. He's been a lot of different places, seen so much, accumulated over 200 wins as a Division I coach. And again, as Pat Nunley had mentioned the other day, nobody better in Division I basketball at X's and O's than Billy Gillespie. But you had talked about his willingness to sort of put what he was describing into terms that we could understand. But that's what makes great coaches great coaches, the great communicators. And Billy is certainly that.
Mpaka down low, rolls off. Billy Gillespie also a 12-time Coach of the Year at all his different stops. I mean, so impressive at every different level.
And he's been Coach in the conference, Coach of the Year in every conference he's ever coached in.
High regards for Coach Gillespie. All the wins he has on his resume. Looking for his third here in 2025 as Dior Johnson fades away. It would also be the third inside this brand new EECU Center, trying to stay undefeated in this beautiful building.
No doubt, but make no mistake, whenever you talk to Coach Gillespie, and he'll tell you about it, what a great job by Johnson. He set the defender up, draws the contact, and while he didn't make the shot, is able to get back to the line where he can score again. Johnson again trying to add to his 20 points tonight. But Billy Gillespie, so good about explaining things the right way, and he's not going to mince words. He's going to tell you the truth. And there's an old adage, average players want to be left alone. Good players want to be coached, but the great ones want to be told the truth. And that's what Billy does. Whether you want to hear it or not, Billy's going to let you know about it.
He definitely tells us the truth. You can only imagine what he's telling the players.
Yes.
50-33, Tarleton State in control here in the second half. Wide open look, it falls for Callan Nichols.
What a great attack right there. I thought Nichols was going to take an ill-advised three there, decided to attack the closeout and knocks down the one dribble pull-up. You can tell he's done that 1,000 times in the gym on his own.
Dior Johnson with the ball in his hands, so dangerous. And a kick out, wide open. O'Cypher Owens takes it down to the block and swatted away. Jordan Ryan making plays.
Didn't expect that, did you, at the rim right there? I don't think he did either.
Not at all. Dior Johnson wide open from three, in and out. And Owens grabs the offensive rebound.
I like this guy Owens. He's got good length, and he's able to attack the basket.
All over the glass tonight, O'Cypher Owens. 9 rebounds for number 24. Mazzell gets denied. Again, Jordan Ryan making plays.
It's interesting, Mazzell has struggled the first 5 games. And what you notice about that is that he's willing to play at 2 different speeds, but he didn't accelerate after hesitating. We didn't quite see it. I wonder if we'll get another look at that. When he started to attack, he got downhill, then stopped, and then restarted, re-accelerated, but it wasn't the great disparity in speeds that we saw from him last year. And I'm sure Vinay Patel is kind of looking at his team wondering, hey, what have we got to do to kind of stop the bleeding and get things back on track? But you look up there, and there's still 13 minutes to go, and they're only down 15.
And they forced Tarleton to miss each of their last 7 shots. No field goals in the last 3.5 minutes for the Texans. And corner 3 long there from the Rams, Zion Little. Johnson pushing the pace. Texans have wanted to force it inside, so much help down low. Sigiscar off the feed from Johnson. He fights through the lane.
Step through in your – we've seen a shot fake in the seat, a step through in the seat, a rip under the chin, and a finish with the left hand on the reverse. Whoa, this guy's pretty good.
Showing the skill from France. The redshirt freshman, 11 points tonight. Billy Gillespie said he's going to be a force, and perhaps this is the appetizer this evening. 3 bangs home. Zion Little knocking down another tray tonight.
And this is why Vinay Patel is so good. This is a brilliant timeout. This is a timeout that they're going to be able to build on right here. And with 12 minutes to go, they're only down 52-35. And if they're going to make a run, it's going to happen now. And a lot happened right there. And Coach Patel able to build on it.
52-35, Tarleton State in control.
That ponytail is a sign Caitlin didn't have time for the hairdryer this morning. A sign she needs a Diet Coke break. That's it, Caitlin. Let your hair down. Or up. Yeah, up's good too.
52-38, Tarleton State leading, but they're just one of their last 8 from the floor, and the Rams just knocked down a 3-pointer. And they come out with that full court pressure.
Yeah, a lot of great coaches. They like to change defenses out of a timeout. You see Vinay Patel going with some token pressure here to not allow Tarleton to quite get in their half-court offense as quickly this time.
All second half long, the Texans have done this. Enter into the paint. Sigiscar. It falls. Andy Sigiscar's got a baker's dozen, 13 tonight.
And it's 4 touches in a row where he's done everything right, and yet Angelo State willing to allow him to go one-on-one.
Big drive in the feed, but the easy lay not made by Jordan Ryan. Kaya Isaac wants to push the tempo. Isaac handling things at point. Now off to Dior Johnson. Feed over to O'Cypher Owens. Just 2 on the timer. He has to step back for the 3. It rolls off, and the rebound grabbed there by Zion Little.
And you can see Owens has a lot in the bag. He just needs to refine some things, and he could be a great player in the WAC.
Texans letting the shot clock wind all the way down on that possession. Scott for 3 off the front of the rim. Mazzell wants to push. Kaya Isaac in transition, lays it in, and a chance for more.
I thought we were going to see a culture play by Scott, who was coming up from behind him. He fouled him, but most teams would rather send a guy to the line rather than give up the layup. If you're going to foul him, you can't let him get the shot off right there. Big mistake by the freshman.
So Isaac, who has been running the floor, playing better over the last few games for Coach Gillespie and company, and it's the Texans who will have a shot at the line when we come back. 56-38, they're on top.
Dad, I forgot your birthday was coming up.
The big 6'5".
Yes.
Medicare.
Here's a guide to help you find a plan, okay? Right, now just step into my office.
It's quite a commute.
Get help planning for Medicare so you have more time to plan your birthday.
Hey, Matter. Play long time.
I get you inspired.
Excuse me, where's the C train?
Hey, Meta, where's the C train?
It's 200 feet to the left.
Thank you.
Look at the WAC Player of the Week and WAC Newcomer of the Week, an award not going out on a limb, Scott, but I think he will collect a few more times this year. That's Dior Johnson, but it's Kaya Isaac at the line trying to complete the three-point play out of the timeout.
Yeah, I'd like to see Isaac. You know, you had mentioned Isaac a second ago on the point, and I'm not sure if we see that if Jordan Mazelle's not having the struggles that he's having right now at the one for them. But, yeah, I don't know how Johnson doesn't pick up that award for the second straight week. Do you?
I mean, he's off to a great start, 21 points to begin the new week, and definitely impressive of what he's done against Power 4 opponents this year. Sigaskar with a rejection. He goes in again and ends up committing the foul there on Jaquai Murray.
It was already a tough shot. He didn't have to swat. He swatted a first time and got away with it, then swatted a second time, and no question, the foul was forthcoming.
And one thing Billy Gillespie prides himself on and his teams on is defense and playing tough. And he was really disappointed talking to us, even though we mentioned, hey, great opponents you're playing against. He said, we cannot be giving up over 90 points. I don't care who we're playing. Tonight, Scott, holding the Rams to 26% from the floor. He's got to be happy with that, you would think.
The numbers are good. The little things, though, that he'll point out in tape, I'm sure, in film study, just like that last play where Sigaskar doesn't need to swat like that. He's already put his, the guy that he's defending in jail. There's no way he was going to make that shot at the rim, and if he does, just tip your cap to him. Don't get yourself in foul trouble by doing things fundamentally not necessary.
So here's Isaac bringing it up the floor.
Yeah.
On top of that, Porter came in, and he was handling things at the guard spot as well. First action this year, Dior Johnson. He'll go back to the foul line. He's only attempted 12 foul shots tonight, so a couple more for number 7.
Great guards that help their teams in crunch time know how to drive and draw fouls, and that's what you're seeing right there. Look how Johnson, just that little bit of a dig with that inside shoulder, that right shoulder into the defender, drawing enough contact to draw the foul, but yet not too much to where he's not able to at least have a chance to convert the and one. That takes a lot of gym time to refine those skills.
Angelo State 5-0. Last time they played Tarleton State, they were 5-0. It was in 2019. They won that matchup. They've actually won the last 3, moving to 6-0. But again, first time these two teams have met since Tarleton has transitioned to the Division I level. But still a rivalry. Both teams much dislike for each other.
And there's enough resistance tonight from the Rams to make Tarleton do things the right way. Sometimes you see a mismatch, and the team that has the bigger, faster, stronger players just come out and not really go hard. That's not been the case tonight with Tarleton, although I'm not sure Billy Gillespie would let that happen anyway. He's got enough players over there on the bench. I think they've got 40 chairs sitting over there with players in them that he'll go to somebody else if you're not going hard.
He said it's one of the deepest benches he's had in terms of quality options he has on the bench.
No doubt. That's a key word there, the quality.
Sigaskar looking for quality. He can't finish.
Man, that was going to be an amazing play. That might have ended up on SportsCenter right there. And, boy, Sigaskar's got the length at 6'9", 230 to bring the house down.
Corner from three buried there, and the Rams knock it down from distance. Jordan Crawford.
Yeah, you miss on this end, give up a 3 on that end. It's a 5-point swing, and it's still a 17-point game, but there's still 10 minutes to go.
Mazzell, elbow jumper, it falls.
Nice to see him hit that jumper after the notable problems he's had so far this year, defending as well as on the offensive end, but he's out there working hard tonight. Staying in front is something he's been working to do, and right there, not enough times have we seen that this year from Mazzell. He's a little bit disappointed that the shot was made, but he did everything he needed to do to force that tough take. You can't play it better than that. Billy Gillespie will laud him, I'm sure, in the next time out.
Callan Nichols is able to hit the tough shot. Number 15, Jaquai Murray, not a ton of action tonight, Scott. He's the leading scorer coming in, just 6 points, but 4 fouls has limited his playing time tonight for the NC Central transfer who's led this team with 15 a night.
Yeah, Murray's a guy that will come in and give you a little bit of a spark. We've seen him do that before. And, you know, right now with 8:40 to go, for Angelo State, that spark's got to come pretty soon.
Most definitely.
But he's an old-school type player, a great back-to-the-basket guy, that guy Crawford.
Inside, it's loose on the hardwood. And shot clock violation. Yeah, Crawford knocking down that three.
He started as a freshman at Louisiana Tech, CUSA Freshman of the Year, in fact. Only freshman to have 100 assists and 35 steals, Jordan Crawford. You mentioned Ruston, Louisiana. I'll never forget Sonny Dykes, who is the TCU head coach, the former SMU head football coach, said one time, he goes, "Scott, you never been to Ruston?" I said, "No." He goes, "Get ready." I said, "What do you mean get ready?" It's the most humid place on planet Earth. And lo and behold, Rich and I showed up there that night. I could not believe how muggy it was over there in Ruston. Have you ever been there?
Yes, plenty of times last year for some action on the hardwood, and I can attest.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do. Luckily, I was inside the Thomas Assembly Center, but yes, most definitely. But it is something tonight. We just were mentioning Jaquai Murray and some limited action. He gets to the foul line, which he does so well, and he's back there. But the 4 personals has hurt tonight for him.
You know, he's benefited, too, from having all those indie workouts in the summer. It's helped him. It's refined his skills. His size helps him, no question, at 235. But they like to play through him. He'll draw the double teams. Hasn't drawn them as consistently tonight as he has in games past. But still, he's sort of fighting through some adversity tonight. And I don't know how this score is going to turn out, but this game has benefited both teams tonight.
They've got plenty of options. Angelo State does. Zion Little leading the way on the glass with 9 rebounds. A Texas A&M Kingsville transfer in their conference, and that's something that Coach Patel said, well, that's going to be a rivalry. Of course, West Texas A&M will be.
You know, what's interesting, Angelo State, as good as they are, they were picked 6th in the Lone Star Conference. I was a little bit surprised by that. That they picked defending regional champions Dallas Baptist to repeat as LSC champions, and then you mentioned St. Mary's and Lubbock Christian with St. Ed's and West Texas A&M, perennial powers there. But this Rams team, they may challenge for the title this year.
And part of that, too, is they didn't even return anybody, just 1 basket from a year ago. So when you're putting together the preseason polls, those are so hard to determine things as Murray goes up. But you're right, Scott. Dallas Baptist was incredible last year. It is a great conference. It truly is. And it's also a pathway. A lot of teams from that conference have gone on to Division I level. Not just players, but teams. Tarleton State can attest to that.
And Dallas Baptist is constantly looking for talent. They hold a lot of summer camps.
63-46. Tarleton State leads.
I stand alone with fire inside. This heart's a drum, I won't subside. Against the odds, I'll rise again. with passion burning in my veins.
The holidays can be a lot. But with your new Dell PC with Intel inside, you can handle a lot. From taking care of holiday to-dos to taking care of Aunt Jean, even if she can be a lot.
So Jaquai Murray at the foul line. 63-46 the score alongside Scott Garner. I'm Will Conerly. Tarleton State looking to move to 3-3 on the year if they can hold on. Trying to go to 3-0 inside the EECU Center, and Jaquai Murray was trying to put it in the tin out of the timeout, but misfires the first foul shot.
I love how Billy Gillespie said, coming in, this is going to be a good team, this Angelo State team, and they are. And he said, hey, we got to respect them, or we're going to get beat. He said, I have great respect for Division II players. They've got all kinds of Division I players on their bench. It's just that Tarleton's size and length, and quite honestly, just their willingness to do the little things right and to control the tempo has been problematic for this Angelo State team tonight.
Porter into the game along with Mazel, Sigaskar, Isaac, and Dior Johnson. Mazel on the take, he turns it over.
Boy, Billy Gillespie not very happy about that.
Three fired front of the rim from Nichols, who has been good tonight. Mazel back up the floor. He can't connect once again.
But I love how he missed that shot, but he sprints the floor and lets it fall off his back, kind of like a duck, will water off a duck's back. That's what you've got to do. He's got to be frustrated. He's had a tough first 4 or 5 games, and Porter doing a good job tonight too. But Mazel, he missed that shot trying to draw the foul. And I thought it was foul. I think if the game were closer, that whistle probably gets blown. But Mazel frustrated he didn't make it. And Billy Gillespie, you could see the grimace. He didn't like it either. But Mazel popped right back up, and he sprinted the floor harder than anybody else.
And Porter Jr. now at the stripe. The 6'2", 205 freshman out of Chicago, Damon Porter Jr. hadn't played a minute until tonight, but Billy Gillespie utilizing some more depth at the guard spot.
This guy that scored 39 points in a game against Joliet West High School. Scored over 1,000 points in his high school career.
He joined that club as a sophomore at Romeoville.
But they like the fact that he's so physical. Tough players win. That's the one thing that Coach Patel had mentioned, just the sheer toughness. And that's one of the reasons why he was so excited to share a couple of videos that were made in the offseason regarding his team's practices and whatnot. Chris Beard, the former Texas Tech coach, talked about putting together a video. And we asked him, what do you mean put together a video? He said, oh, yeah, we put together a video all about toughness and how tough teams win. And, that's just a recurring theme. I can remember, talking to a few coaches about 10 or 12 years ago, and it just struck a chord with me. The former North Texas coach had mentioned that too, and about how the tougher team always wins. No matter what happens in a game, no matter who hits what shots, it's all about toughness and how the toughness always prevails. That's why Billy Gillespie has turned into the coach that he is. It's all about defense for him. It's all about doing it on the defensive end and the toughness. That's what's been so disappointing. Looking at the scores here, Will, it's been so disappointing for Billy to see 96 given up, even though you're playing SMU, 96 more the next game against LSU, 77 against A&M Corpus Christi, 94 against Baylor. These are great teams, but it doesn't matter. To Billy Gillespie, they're not that much better. If they are even better than Tarleton, we just have to do our job, and they want to hold teams in the 60s at least.
And this is going to be a battle-tested team as well, Tarleton State. You mentioned all the Power 4 opponents. They've got another one coming up as well in early December on the road at Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, as they will have a tough matchup against another Big 12 squad, another team that is tough and physical.
Cincinnati. You go up to Cincinnati, it is always tough to win at Fifth Third Arena.
It is. Very tough place to play. They've got a great program as well.
At one point, that arena had the biggest wooden floor in Division I. They had the most square footage of any division, kind of like the old East Texas A&M field house that will soon be gone.
You've got great court knowledge, that's for sure.
Square footage. We know all about square footage.
Dior Johnson, he knows all about putting it in the hole. He misses, tries to put it back, and it's taken away.
The old airplane hangar in Commerce.
And Dior Johnson with plenty of opportunities.
I walked into that place the first time ever in 1999, and I can say that having worked as their radio guy on 2 different stints. They needed a new arena in 99, and it's 2025, and they're going to get one.
There you go. And you'll visit it, be at the ribbon cutting?
I might. Yes, I may. That's interesting. I lived about 2 blocks from there. I lived in a little garage apartment 2 blocks from there. And when I first started in radio, guess what my rent payment was a month?
$450?
$150 a month.
$150. Pretty good.
Yes, it was really good.
And it's a good lead right now for Tarleton State, 67-48. They're on top. 5:37 to go. We are stepping aside. We'll be right back from the EECU Center.
Ah, the ponytail. The unofficial hairstyle of the morning rush. An official sign Caitlin needs a Diet Coke break. That's right, Caitlin. Hang out with him. Let your hair down. Or up. Up's good too. I actually like it like this.
Oh my goodness. Look at your little boo. What happened?
Other Saturdays.
Okay, you gotta be careful, okay?
I know.
And let's get you off your feet. We're gonna get your Medicare prescriptions delivered.
When life gets the best of you, get the best help with your prescriptions.
It's 67-48. Tarleton State leads, and the 6 and 7 on the scoreboard causing some reaction from the fans. Scott Garner, you know all about that, don't you?
This is habit. Teaching junior high, these middle school kids for 2 months now have been doing their hands in this 6-7. Well, where does that come from, Will?
You're asking me. Falling down, and the shot connected. Jaquai Murray, I got out of it because I had to describe a play, but Scott, I'll be honest, I am not exactly sure of the origin.
I think it's a rap song.
A rap song. Maybe that could have been our trivia. Dior Johnson drives, and he's fouled.
See, you're always giving plain ideas. This is not good.
Well, we'll know it now if we're putting it out there.
Oh,
we
misfired
the trivia tonight, though. If you missed it at halftime, well, you'll have to go back and watch.
If we asked Billy Gillespie, would he know? 6-7. I guarantee you his guys do that.
Well, they're trying to get, I guess, to 6-8 now, so they didn't want to move off that line on the scoreboard. And, they stay there. Dior Johnson, a rare miss from the stripe, Scott. He's 14 of 16 at the foul line
He
tonight.
is. You know, when we were talking to Vinay Patel, he was going all into the history of Tarleton State. I couldn't believe it. He knew all about Oscar P. He knew all about the Purple Poo. He knew all about the Texans and their chaps. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. If I had a quiz, who knows more about Oscar P. and is it you or Coach Gillespie? What do you think?
Yes.
He would not go. He would not answer that.
He plead the fifth there.
Yes, he did.
But he's definitely excited to come here. He said he had so many great battles inside Wisdom Gym when he was leading West Texas A&M. Free ball knocked down Jabari Berry. That's the 5th three for Angelo State.
We talked about Chris Reisman, who preceded Billy Gillespie as the head coach here at Tarleton State, and his dad preceding Chris. Those two gentlemen are on the front row tonight. And, hey, news here in Stephenville with the great Lon Reisman. This last do they call it Super Tuesday on a non-presidential election Tuesday? And is it still Super Tuesday in November? I'm not sure. But I do believe, I'm 99% certain that Lon Reisman has become, I think he is the mayor-elect. Is he not the mayor-elect here in Stephenville? Did he not win the election for mayor?
I believe so,
I believe
Scott.
that's true.
He did indeed. So you're 99% sure,
I'm 99%
but we're going to lock
sure.
it in for you.
All right.
We're going to give you 100%.
I was going to ask you, what's the first thing that a mayor does? I was going to ask him that at halftime, and then you wanted to do trivia. I'll do that after the game, Will.
Okay. Report back to us,
Yes.
please. Jaquai Murray taking it inside on Mazzell. And they try to find Murray again, but not on the same page. Bari throws it out of bounds. You can see why they want to feed Murray so big inside. The Texans have been a little too much inside for him tonight, though.
You know, the length, giving them some problems. That's a hard pass anyway, that lob pass, but particularly on a pop play like that, they'll have to work on that a little bit more.
Tarleton State, 68 points on the board, 26 from Dior Johnson. 3:54 to go in the second half.
Ooh.
That's a good one. Yeah, Fifth Third Arena, though, they scored 100 on Michigan. You want to talk about playing defense? That's going to be a tough game.
Yes. Why were you were questioning your comment about it being a tough game? You didn't think?
We are creating an unusually amazing customer experience.
We don't push product. We want to understand how we can help.
Where UMB and the relationship officers do a fantastic job is getting to know the customer, build trust, and let them know they care.
I think everyone sells relationship banking, but we deliver it.
Oh my goodness. Look at your little boo. What happened?
Other Saturdays.
Okay, you gotta be careful, okay?
I know.
Okay, let's get you off your feet. We're gonna get your Medicare prescriptions delivered.
When life gets the best of you, get the best help with your prescriptions.
Tarleton State as the men's heads basketball coach, vice president.
Oh my goodness. Look at your little boo. What happened?
Other Saturdays.
Okay, you gotta be careful, okay?
I know.
Okay, let's get you off your feet. We're gonna get your Medicare prescriptions delivered.
When life gets the best of you, get the best help with your prescriptions.
Hey, Meta, film this.
Dress rehearsal in 5 minutes.
Hey, Meta, stop filming.
And I remember it was so much fun to go to Wisdom Gym and to go see the Texans play, and it was such a treat to be able to sit behind Lon Reisman in the bench and to watch him, because invariably something would go haywire during the game, and he would start stomping his dress shoe right there on the floor, getting people's attention. It was just so much fun to watch Lon Reisman coach, and obviously such a great man and great leader. And hey, going to be leading the city.
He'll be sworn in tomorrow.
Wow.
And enjoying things at the EECU Center tonight.
They don't waste any time, do they?
No, they don't. We'll see what his first action is. Scott will find it out pretty soon.
I'm going to go ask him right now.
Johnson, easy finish, and Dior Johnson's big-time night continues. He's got 28 points, and Scott Garner was not kidding. He has got up. He is going to talk to the next mayor of Stephenville, Lon Reisman, courtside. So you won't hear him break down this replay. He was really curious about what Lon Reisman will do as his first act as mayor. And when you have access courtside as a media member, you can just get up and go out.
This guy, I'm telling you, I love this guy. So I go over there and I ask, like, Lon, you're going in tomorrow? He goes, oh, yes, sir. What's the first thing you do as a mayor? He had a perplexed look on his face. He goes, you got to schedule a lot of meetings. You got to talk to a lot of people and learn what to do.
Well, the people were definitely excited. He got 66% of the vote.
Wow.
And going in tomorrow. So meetings on the menu for Reisman tomorrow. Courtside, though, trying to enjoy a Tarleton State win. 2.5 to go. And it's pulled down by Porter. Up the floor to Johnson. Johnson just draws fouls left and right tonight. We mentioned Freddie Hicks, who is leading the nation in foul shots, but Dior Johnson trying to pass him tonight.
I just hope that Lon doesn't become like Ken Jones, the former mayor of Rockwall, when I joked one time at a speaking engagement. I said, Ken, what were you doing? What are you doing? Well, I was over there at the ballpark just kind of sitting there watching the game. I said, ballpark? Oh, yeah, watching the Little League game across the street. I said, I wonder what the mayor did all afternoon. There is Ken Jones over there watching. Does Lon turn into Ken? I hope not.
Well, I'm just so glad you got the answer to your question. You were wondering what he's going to do. You take the headset off, replay comes. I tried to break it down for you, Scott.
You got to wear many hats on these broadcasts
you
here.
Do. And you go ask him. That is fantastic.
It reminds me of the days covering the Texas Legends during the commercial break. We take our headset off, sit right there with Eddie Nahara right there in the huddle and see what play was coming up next. I sounded like a genius out of the timeouts.
And who is a genius? It's Dior Johnson getting to the foul line because he just tied Freddie Hicks for the most foul shots made in the D1 era for Tarleton State, as it's put in Jordan Mazzell doing great things.
Nicely done. Great to see Jordan Mazzell having a really good second half here. He's got 8 points, 7 boards on 4 of 6 shooting, very efficient. How about the assist to turnovers here for Mazzell? 5 assists, 1 turnover tonight.
So Tarleton State dominating, 7-0 run right now. They're forcing the turnover, 17 of them tonight for the Rams. Dior Johnson, another 30-point game. He's got 33 on the evening.
Man, this guy Johnson, he does not let up. That's what I love about him. He does so many things right. And the points, it's just like a waterfall. A waterfall of points for Johnson. We mentioned the 42. He's got 23 in a game, 32 in a game, 42 in a game, and tonight another 33.
And 18 made foul shots, tying the Texans' D1 era record for most foul shots made in a game, tying Freddie Hicks, who went out in the first half and did not return to this one, but 18 of 21 at the line. The all-time record is 19. You still have 61 seconds to potentially get there. Dior Johnson, I do think he's well on his way to another WAC Player of the Week honor. Although it's just Monday, that award comes out every Monday afternoon out of the conference office. Jordan Ryan at the line, can't connect anything, just hits the net. And Roy Marone checking into the game for Tarleton State. You mentioned that deep bench. It's a sophomore out of Frisco, Texas, who comes into the ballgame.
Chance to play some last year. Good to see him get into a game here. Billy Gillespie never scared to empty the bench.
Having an opportunity used in final minutes of game situations his freshman season. And first time getting a chance to play this season for the final minute. 50 seconds to go. Tarleton State really running away with this one in the second half, and they did a lot of things really well. 43 rebounds compared to just 34 for Angelo State. Dior Johnson, another 30-point game, 33, following the 42 he had at Baylor. And Tarleton State lets the shot clock expire. Just 31 seconds remain in the ballgame.
That was a pretty good possession right there for Tarleton State, and they're going to make a substitution here. Nice hand for Damian Porter, who had a nice game tonight. Even though he might only have 2 points, but he had 5 rebounds tonight. I thought he was really, really active. Did a good job off the ball too.
.25 seconds left. Tarleton State going to move to 3-3, 3-0 inside the EECU Center. They are at Rice upcoming on Thursday night. They'll head down to Houston, Texas. And then they're back home the following Friday against Midwestern State, so another old Lone Star Conference foe. Then they go to the aforementioned Fifth Third Arena at Cincinnati.
Hey, that'll be a tough game with Rice now. Rice, a team that almost pulled off the upset just recently. They've had a couple of big tilts. That's a team that is much improved over this season. So we'll see the Texans go down to Houston, and again, if you're going to beat that team, you're going to have to work. They almost beat Oregon.
It'll be a tough challenge, but tonight Tarleton State wins the 82nd all-time meeting between the Rams and Texans, 77-54, and Dior Johnson is the headliner once again, 33 points on the night, and a memorable one at the foul line, 18 foul shots made.
And not only can he fill it up, but doing it consistently is something not a lot of guys can do, but I love his approach to the game. I love how he maintains the discipline. He comes to the office ready to go to work, and he just provides for this Texan team.
And this Texan team, 77-54, the final score. Dior Johnson, 33 points. O'Cypher Owens led the way on the glass with 8 rebounds. Jordan Mazzell, 5 assists. Jaquai Murray led the way for Angelo State. He had 12 points, 11 rebounds for Zion Little, and Jordan Crawford had 4 assists. And getting ready for Dior Johnson to join us courtside here on the post-game show. Dior Johnson, no surprise that he is going to join us here on the post-game show, getting ready to talk with him here in just a moment. And after his big night tonight, 33 points, he sits down with us courtside. Hello, Dior Johnson. Appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for coming on. And you had a performance tonight, 33 points. Tell us about what you saw out there on the court.
Just kind of, coming off a loss, just looking for a win. Coming off of, I had a good game, so just coming off momentum. And my coach put me in the best position to be successful to the team, and I felt like we had a great team effort tonight. Showed up, and we just, at the end of the day, it's all about getting the win. So I just try to show up, like I said, and do whatever I can to help my team win.
He's Dior Johnson. I'm Will Conerly. We're courtside here inside the EECU Center. Some more thoughts on this one, Dior. You're looking at some of the highlight plays tonight. You're also seeing your team come over and congratulate you, as the Texans always do. We saw you guys do this to Chris Mpaka last week, but the highlight reels tonight, any thoughts on just the last 2 games for you? You have 42 down in Waco and now 33 tonight. You're scoring the ball at an incredibly high level, and I know you've been known as a scorer your entire basketball career, but to continue to do it, what's been working so well for you in this offense?
First off, sticking to your work, being confident. It's a mental game first, it's physical second, and understanding that and approaching every game in a dominant mode with the right mindset. Like I said, I just try to do whatever I can to help win. So if that means I have to score, then that's what I'm going to have to do to help my team. And shout out to my coach with this offense. Just, when I first got here, it was different from me. It's my first year playing off the ball. But I'm starting to figure it out. And my coach, I feel like, has just put me in great positions to be successful for this team. And, that's all. Shout out to my coach.
Well, this team really together for you, all coming over, congratulating you. I'm sure you're enjoying this win, and we enjoyed talking to you post-game. Great game tonight, and thanks again for taking some time with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That's Dior Johnson joining us on the post-game show, and we step aside. Tarleton State wins it 77-54, and the Texans move to 3-3 on the year. Dior Johnson leads the way with 33 points. For Scott Garner, I'm Will Conerly and our entire crew. We say so long from Stephenville, Texas.